Season 2, Episode 6 of House of the Dragon was something. Let's get into it. So my husband made a remark on the intro. You know how they have the sewing? He said it's kind of tone deaf to have women fighting each other or being the leaders of war and the intro being them sewing. Which is maybe not the best choice. I can understand it because that's what they would have done, how everything weaves together. I get why they did the whole tapestry thing, but this was a hobby that women did in these medieval settings, so it's kind of funny. That's what they chose. Anyway, in preparation for this lore, tensions are high, and what is certain is that Aemond is not taking anything from anybody, particularly his mother. He is a very good commander, and as much as I love him as a character, I don't think he would make the best king. He's giving Scar from The Lion King.
I'll handle this. Scar, there's no food, no water.
Yeah, it's dinner time, and we ain't got no stinking entrees.
It's the lioness's job to do the hunting.
Yeah, but they won't go hunt.
Oh, eat Zazu.
Oh, you wouldn't want me.
Where is your hunting party? They're not doing their job.
Scar, there is no food. The herds have moved on.
No, you're just not looking hard enough.
It's over. There is nothing left. We have only one choice. We must leave Pride Rock.
We're not going anywhere.
Then you have sentenced us to death.
Then so be it.
You can't do that.
I am a king. I can do whatever I want.
If you were half the King Mufasa was, you
I'm 10 times the king Mufasa was.
And yeah, Simba would be Aegon in this case, except that Aegon's not feeling well. Was also interesting to see an actual lion being carried by the Lannisters. I don't know if they're going to be using that in battle.
The least of his worries.
Your irritations are justified, Aemond, but it does seem...
I have a task for you as well, Sir Dylan.
The way he cut off his mother was so funny. This is basically Aemond's way of saying, shut up. You're my mom, but I don't need you being my mother in front of these men. You're making me look bad. Shut up. Let me deal with this myself. That's his way of exerting not only his power, but showing his mother that she can't control him. I know exactly what that is. It's also nice, even though I'm starting to kind of, sort of feel a little bit sorry for Poncho over here. He's clearly afraid of Aemond, and he realized that he put himself in a very strange situation. Had he not been a little bitch, none of this would have happened. I like how Aemond is like, my uncle, if he dares to face me, bro, he will unface you. He will take what is left of your pretty little face and probably wear it. Remember what he did to the last guy who spoke out of turn? I also like when she starts to leave the room with Kristen Cole, and he's like, Mom, I know you want to get pipe right now, but clearly we need to talk. And this was a very good talk because he was essentially telling her, you need to know your place. And it's not on the small council. My father's dead. Aegon's not here anymore. So, I mean, he kind of is, but kind of not. So you're not needed. And maybe you can go chase some dick if that's what you really want. He didn't say that, but he heavily implied that because I'm pretty sure everybody knows she's piping Kristen. Or Kristen's piping her, whatever.
I'm sure you'll be much pleased to return to more domestic pursuits.
The indignities of your childhood not yet sufficiently been avenged.
I really like that scene right there because it shows how gentle he is. Clearly, he's not doing this because he doesn't love his mom. Number one, he's probably trying to spare her from all the horrible things he's about to do. And from seeing him like this, you could see the softness in his eyes right there. He's being strong or doing what he thinks he needs to do to bring glory to his house. And it's like he looks at her for the first time when he feels her motherly touch on him, which is something he hasn't experienced in a very long time. When have we ever seen Alicent thoroughly done this with him? I mean, for crying out loud, he's getting that kind of affection from a prostitute, not from his mom. And the fact that she is doing this, you could see him kind of break a little bit, and he's like, it's almost like he wants to cry. Like, look at his little puppy dog eyes. He's like, Mommy? But he knows he has to grow up, and he cannot be the full Targaryen or whatever he is without growing up and not being coddled by mommy anymore. If it were anyone else, he would have been like, I know what you're trying to do. I know you're trying to use me. But he gently removes her and says,
You have the gratitude of the crown.
Corlys is now the hand, and honestly, I think he's the best person for it in this situation because the men respect him, and he's very wise and has experience. Soon as they brought this distant second, fourth, 16th cousin of the Targaryens, and they're like, we want you to try and ride one of the dragons. I knew this guy was gonna die. I already knew he was gonna die, bro. Like, look at his face. Clearly, he's going to die. He's too nice and too sweet of a person. Meanwhile, Daemon's whole role in this is becoming human and facing the regrets, reliving all the conversations of his brother being upset with him and Daemon not having been there for his brother. Him having to see how much he's hurt his brother and make his brother cry is the most painful thing to him, knowing that he can never ever make up for what he's done. Seeing Daemon grapple with this shows how human he is. Although I wish we would have seen a lot more of his ruthlessness. I mean, he can still be ruthless, and I think we've shown that he is human and that he's still dealing with these things, but it kind of feels, to be honest, like they're kind of putting him on the back burner so Rhaenyra and Alicent and everybody else can do their thing. They're probably thinking, we have Aemond, we don't need 2 Daemons, do we? Then why'd you create 2 of them? Anyway, he decides to run, and Minecraft Mouth over here is like, that's what you always do, isn't it? You just run away. Funny how he thinks that someone poisoned the wine, but he never once thinks it's her since she always shows up when he's having these hallucinations. He ends up asking her for help, sort of.
Or perhaps those who strive for it are the least suited to wear it.
Don't lecture me!
It came to him, and he did his best. It's not a prize to be won, but a burden to bear.
If you have any counsel for dealing with the River Lords, I'd be glad of it.
Daemon Targaryen asking for help?
Okay, never mind then. How about a smack to the mouth? I'm kidding. Don't you hate when people do that? They're like, all you need to do is ask, and then you try to do things on your own to show that you're self-sufficient and strong because people won't follow you if you can't handle things on your own. And as soon as you ask them for help, oh my god, you're asking me for help? Like, bitch, isn't that what you wanted? Why are you having an issue? Clearly he's doing that. You don't need to rub it in. It's so annoying. Man, this woman looks rough. He does. And their wigs are really wigging this season, I must say. Anyway, she said she'll see what she can do with her owl. As soon as this guy walked in, yep, I was like, sea smoke is going to light your ass on fire. The other thing I noticed is that sea smoke looks identical to Drogon and Rhaegal and Viserion, which makes me believe that sea smoke, or another breed of dragon like him, is the ancestor of Drogon and Rhaegal and the others. Probably a father as well. Smee smoke. Smee. Why am I saying Smee? Snee. Oh my god, are you serious right now?
Float down!
Sea smoke is an ancestor to Drogon and his brothers, supposedly. And because this guy sees the dragons as gods, why would they see you as an equal or someone worthy of them? He tries making the commands, and I love how Sea Smoke is like, oh. And they're like, huh? And Sea Smoke's like, come on, baby, I'm gonna let you ride me. Come on, what you waiting for? Don't make me wait any longer. Here's my shoulder, come on. And this guy is walking like he's getting ready to freaking piss himself. And the dragon's like, yeah, it's all right. I got you, baby. Look at his devious face. Look at Sea Smoke's face. Sea Smoke's like, a little closer. You got this. It's giving me Spirit Stallion of the Cimarron. When I saw this, he's like, are you sure? Dragon's like, I got you. Trust me, bro. Anybody, like, maybe it's just because of the writing, but I already knew before they even put this guy anywhere near the dragon, dude was gonna die, okay? He is going to die, like, and then Sea Smoke waits till he walks away from everybody, and then he has to be like, I've done it. Which is such terrible dialogue. Why would he say that? You're not on the back of the dragon. You're not on the back of the nobody would say that. He would still be terrified. But nope. They gotta play it up and make him look stupid.
I've done it.
It's not funny, but it is. I don't even know why it's funny, honestly. I'm a freaking sociopath. It's the way that Sea Smoke set all of that up. And people might be like, well, he changed his mind at the last, but the dragon knew goddamn well what he was doing. Dragons are intelligent. The dude waited. Sea Smoke waited. Sea Smoke came with the smoke. He knew damn well what he was doing. He looked at him and was giving him those puppy dog eyes with that freaking sinister ass smile. Look at the dragon, freaking smiling like someone's tickling its balls. Like, he knew what he was doing. Have you ever seen a dragon make that freaking face? It's probably the face he gives women dragons. Of course, honey. I won't leave you as soon as we smash. Of course I'll stick around for the kids. What do you mean? Like, I'm a good dad. Then as soon as the guy separates from the other people, he's far enough away from them. Nope! Uno reverse card. Here we go. Feeling for some barbecued night tonight. I think, oh my god, I think some of the people even got burned a little bit too. He gave him, he didn't even chomp him. He was like, you know what? Just for feeling like you're hot shit, I'm gonna turn you into hot shit. How about that? I like how when he's done, he just leaves. He's like, okay, that was fun. That was cute that y'all thought that you ate, that you did something there with bringing this dumbass, inbred ass looking whatever you call this to come ride me. How dare you? You go clean up its ashes. Then the guy knifes his throat to kind of kill himself quicker, which doesn't actually do anything. So now, not only are you burning to death, but now you're also, now you can't breathe, which you can't anyway because you're burning, but now you, like, I don't even understand what the point of that was. Soon as we see the dark elven guy, we're like, yeah, he's gonna ride one of the dragons. I already know. The fact this guy's always covering his hair, or sorry, his bald head, tells us that he has the blonde platinum hair. We also learned that this guy, because I guess the gene, because the blonde hair isn't, it's recessive, but not like as recessive as human blonde hair, but still enough. He has black hair, or black of hair, hair of black, whatever they say in the Game of Thrones universe, but he's brothers with Adam. And we learn that, sorry, not brothers with Adam, Alan. We learn that he is also a son of Corlys, which means he banged the same woman twice. Or maybe they're half brothers, who knows? They have this nice, tall, strong-looking dude. Obviously, he's gonna become a dragon rider. We just know. We still have this guy, and the prostitute whisperer is spreading contention throughout King's Landing or Aegon's rule. People don't have any food. I thought this was the prostitute that Aemond used to bang. I can't, she kind of looks like her. Sorry, like, if I don't remember her face, it might not be her, it might be her, but she's disquieted with this as well because the Prince Regent, who is Aemond, is not thinking of the small folk because they're all starving to death. And if she is the woman he was laying with, remember she had told him that, you know, don't forget the small folk, and it's the small folk who suffer. It would make sense why she would turn on him if this is the woman. It might not be. Yeah, he used her and then was like, all right, to hell. And then on top of how he treated her to kind of save face with Aegon, it must make sense that she would be a little angry at him. I mean, I don't know why, you're a whore, so like, what is the issue? But anyway, people are starving, and you can't expect the people to just feed on their hopes and dreams.
Its numbers were few, but we may yet retake.
Oh! Man, she slapped him with the force of her ancestors. He almost broke a freaking hip. When someone gets embarrassed like that and everybody in the background stops to look, I can't even blame them. Then she says, I think it's my fault you've all forgotten to fear me. And it's so unfortunate that you do have to be ruthless with people for them to take it seriously, to take you seriously. So anyway, Missaria comes in. Rhaenyra is hard on herself. And then we have the ex-prostitute flirting with her.
This becomes you.
Oh my god, like, stop. So after the people at the bar, the pub, were talking about how King's Landing has, or the rulers have enough food, apparently Aemond is getting thick with some people because some of the prostitutes, which makes me believe that was the prostitute, the one that was at the bar talking to the other guy that I said it looks like her, because she said some of her girls. I'm like, you must be one of them. She's one of the girls, which makes sense. She's probably just drinking there and she's upset because of Aemond, which makes sense. She turned on him because he turned on her. So the people see all these horses going by with all of these lambs to the slaughter. And the people cry out and say, you have enough food to feed your dragons, but not us. And I could see where they're coming from, but at the same time, if they didn't feed the dragons, what do you think the dragons are going to end up eating? You should be thankful that the dragons are getting fed. Aemond doesn't care about this. Aemond doesn't understand, even though he's intelligent, he's not smart enough to know and put together the reason why the people are angry. He asks why the anger is directed at them. Because you're closest, and you're their king, and you're the one who's supposed to be doing something about this. That is one of the first times, aside from his brashness, where you could truly see his inexperience. Lara says that's the burden of authority, and you shouldn't do it alone. You need a hand. Aemond's face. Aemond already knew before he opened his mouth. You're gonna ask me to be it, ain't ya? I like how Aemond handles this. because it's hilarious. But in reality, you don't do this. You need to play the game if you want people to be by your side. As a king, you're gonna have people who are your enemies just for the sake of being your enemies because you're in a place of power, even when it makes no sense for them to be enemies. Ned Stark was a good example of this. And I think it is important for you to be cruel as a king when cruel is required. But you need to also give a little. Aemond is all cruel and no give. Aegon had a better balance of that because at least he wasn't always kind. He grew up a little shit, but as he got older, he did have a little bit of that kindness, and all the stuff he used to do when he was on drugs, he stopped doing that as far as I knew. He had already done damage, but at least he was trying to make himself a better person by appealing to the small folk, even though he was stupidly so. Aemond, on the other hand, is all the way on the other side of the spectrum, where he's just all cruel.
On the contrary, my
I have
prince.
little patience for the self-important, Lord Laris, and even less for flatterers and lick-spittles. We do our as it happens, correct? Every king needs a hand. I'll make it your responsibility.
My prince, it is an honor I've never considered for
I'm
myself.
not to serve as hand. You toad to fetch him. Send word to Otto Hightower. My grandsire may be overcautious, but his devotion to his family has never been in doubt.
Oh, damn. Because Larys did betray his own family in blood. So he has that working against him. But he set him up to make Larys look like an idiot. And Larys is one of those people that you do not want to do that with. If he had been nicer to him, I think Larys would have been like, all right, there's still a way I can exercise my power. But now you've made like the King of Whispers your enemy. Unfortunately, throughout this episode, nobody knows where Otto Hightower is and Alicent hasn't heard of him. And then the Maester guy comes in as like, the king is doing better.
How long will it last?
When I first saw this, I didn't know what the frick I was looking at because it took my mind a moment to like process what it was that was unfolding from my eyes. Ugh. Okay. I thought many things, but not what it turned out to be. They're removing seaweed or something from his wounds. Yeah, anyway. I'm actually happy that Aegon's doing better, but I already know that this is dangerous. And when he sees Aemond come into the room, you can see him visibly scared. And I don't blame him. He knows his brother tried to kill him. And before Aegon even said anything, first thing I was thinking was, hey, I didn't see anything. What? Who? I don't remember what happened. Do you remember what happened? I remember nothing. I blacked out after the other dragon bit down on me, bro. Like, what do you mean? You were there? Were you? Really? Damn. Huh. I don't remember that at all. Who knows? Big green dragon. Did not see it. Must have been blending in with the freaking forest because I didn't see you anywhere.
What do you remember?
Nothing.
Ow. Okay. Why am I feeling it? Oh. Oh, poor Aegon. Karma's one hell of a thing. Oh my god. Please, if he ends up becoming the king, it's like one of those things. You're like, oh, this king is kind of bad. But if he dies, it's gonna be worse with the next person in line. So I feel like if Aegon had died and he still had his son, Aemond would have found a way to displace that son somehow. I wouldn't put it past him.
You challenged Meleese. It's foolish.
I remember nothing.
So he reiterates, I remember nothing. I didn't see shit. I don't even know. I come to think of it, who are you? I don't even know who you are, bro. Like, why are you in my room? The fuck? And nobody is there. As soon as he's like, guys, get out the room. I want to be with my brother alone. I was instantly worried. And damn. So the Maester comes in to check up on Aegon because the Maester knows he doesn't want Aemond to be king. He's like, to hell with this. I know damn well what you're doing. I'm not leaving you alone with the king. Were these guys even on the inside when all this was happening? No, they were on the outside. Oh no. So he leaves a little plaything ball with Aegon and then tells this guy, my brother has a very long recovery ahead of him. Right? The Maester's like, of course! Yes, actually, now that you think of it, he's not doing so well, is he? Nah, he ain't. Oh, okay. Don't know why I didn't see that before. Shit, I must not be feeling well myself. This must be horrible for the doctor as well, because imagine you were the best at your job, and you've done everything. You've exhausted everything. And the king is actually doing better. And now to everyone else, now you have to keep him sick or ill or at least indisposed. And then it looks bad on you. Like you don't know how to heal properly. I do think Aegon would have been able to recover from this, even though his pretty looks would never come back. So we go back to Bela, one of them, the little baby female version of Grey Worm. You know who I'm talking about. She's right there in front of the screen. She sees something crazy. A dragon eating plate. I call it that because the dragons just sit around and eat all the... Okay, I have a question. Okay, I know they're doing this for Hollywood's sake, but it's pretty stupid. You have a dragon that is massive, because now they know there's a massive wild dragon around, right? Please someone explain to me how it makes sense that a dragon, a creature as massive as this, will burn sheep up and leave their skeletons on the ground. Have you seen reptiles eat? They eat small things whole. Why would the dragon sit there burning a sheep and then picking it very, very daintily? What is it, eating with a knife and fork? Why are there whole skeletons of sheep around? The dragon would have eaten all of these. It would have made more sense if they had little bones scattered everywhere. But no, every sheep, you could see whole sheep or animals just lying there, all picked clean because the dragon went around and took its sweet ass time being as big as it is and peeled all the meat off of these things, which makes no freaking sense. 4 of those sheep can fit in the dragon's mouth and maybe more, and that's how it eats. That makes no freaking sense. As someone who loves animals and knows a lot about them, this is the kind of stuff that would probably just go way over people's heads, and it just gets on my freaking nerves. Even dogs, even canines, will eat a lot of the bones of certain creatures that they can get and chew on and come off with. But a dragon, a dragon this size? So while the young guys are playing with their dragons, miniature Grey Worm is upset. And my husband sent me something. It was this woman. I was like, she's so beautiful. And she did look familiar, but I just thought she had one of those faces. So regal and elegant and that long ass neck. And then I remember she's mother from Raised by Wolves. And Corlys's bastard is father from Raised by Wolves as well. Great show that they fucking canceled for no goddamn reason. But anyway, I don't want to get into that because I get pissed off every time I hear about it. But yeah, anyways, she says, you're not happy. And she's like, does it look like I'm happy, bitch? What in the Brachiosaurus? I'm sorry. But anyway, this woman is like, excuse me? I thought she was gonna backhand this person.
You misled me, my lady.
I did what?
The way she said it, I misled you. I'm sorry, come again? I'm gonna give you a chance to correct your wording because I think you fucked up there a little bit. Let's try that again, shall we? She's so intimidating. I love her. I loved her in Raised by Wolves as well. She does have that very regal beauty about her, but she's also scary as hell. Oh my god. This woman, you don't even know really who she is. I mean, I know who she is, Lady of the Vale, but you don't really know what she's capable of because she has that kind of aura. She's the kind of person that's dangerous without her even doing much, just looking at you. So the young one is like, yeah, there's a very large dragon in the Vale, and the woman mother says, yes, but he's wild. Your point? You want to bet that she's gonna end up taming that dragon? She's gonna end up taming that dragon, the largest dragon that can probably rival Vhagar, because of course she is. Also, we get confirmation for the platinum hair with Corlys' son because you can see little bits of it growing, that they died, and that's father, by the way. I like that they had their scenes back to back. I wonder if they know each other, like are real friends or whatever in real life, because they starred in a show together and then they're like in this show together. Scenes about, I'm probably just reading too much into it. But anyway, he keeps his hair short so people don't know that he's Corlys' son because it would be very obvious that he's Corlys' son. His little brother is like, we could have riches and bitches, bro. Alan is not about that life, but Adam really wants it. He wants to, he has Daemon's demeanor with wanting power and just being naturally dominant and proud. Meanwhile, Rhaenyra is upset and her son basically tells her, yo, I heard you slap the shit out of that dude. What'd he do? He understands where she's coming from, wanting to fight. At the same time, he's biased because this is his mom. She wants to ride out with her army, but she has to stay here. And she's complaining that the men see her as their mother or their daughters. And Jace reminds her, but you are my mom. And he will always see her that way. I can't even blame him for being protective because that's what all brothers, that's what all sons do. That's what all brothers do with their sisters. I completely understand where that's coming from. You can't really blame them, and men have that natural inclination to protect women. Of course they do. The reason why is because without the women, they can't pass on their genes. It's very simple. That protectiveness exists in biology for a reason. Even the freaking animals, other animals, do that. Then comes Miss Aria, and the way that, anyway, she talks about the gift being there, and actually, my husband is the one that pointed this out before this was a thing. He said that I bet she's going to send food, because that would be the thing you would do politically, and because you don't want the people to suffer, because they might be your subjects at some point. You want to send the people food so they're not dying off. You're not gonna have anything to rule. People want to see kindness also from you if they're getting cruelty from their current rulers. It makes sense. Show them kindness. Not only are you doing a good thing, but also those people will rally to your side. And I'm thinking to myself, I know they didn't send that one boat because this guy's probably going to take it all. Then you see that the sea is littered with all these boats with Rhaenyra's flag. Alicent's upset because she said, I thought he was doing better. The maester... He says, well, you know, my ass is clenching. Woman, what do you want me to do? But he can't tell her it's Aemond, but she probably already knows it is. She only shows affection to her children when things go south, but she tells him that she's so sorry, probably for pushing him into this. She goes out to see Christian Cole, but her brother stops her, and the way he looks at Christian, everyone knows. He looks at Christian, then he looks at his sister, he's like, oh, you came to see me, right? Everyone knows this woman is screwing Christian. And I don't even know if she is right now because he's too PTSD'd up for any of that, which is his own fault. I do kind of feel a little bit bad for him because now he's seeing the result of what he did. He still deserves it, but the human side of me feels bad to see people suffering and sad, and that's what Christian's going through right now. Same thing with Aegon, same thing with basically everybody, almost everybody in the show. Like, I feel like I say all this stuff about like, oh, we would torture these people, but there's something about seeing people broken where you're like, well, you deserve that, but I do feel bad for you, especially if they're remorseful about hurting people. I don't know if he's remorseful about hurting Rhaenyra, but he's probably rethinking everything right now, having almost died, and seeing what happened as a result, and realizing that he was a spoke in the wheel of the chaos that's being created right now. He lets her know that you were always father's favorite, that's why he chose you to be here instead of me. Alicent's also regretting everything that's happened. That's what you get. I mean, yes, she was conditioned by her father and her house, but she wasn't the nicest friend to Rhaenyra, was very judgmental. Her father wasn't even that judgmental. He didn't want to know about any of that stuff. So all of that came from her and her little piety, like her little religion. Oh, you had sex with people? Oh my god, how could you? And you're doing exactly the same thing with the same person. She does give a nod to Cole to let him know, but she still likes him and she still wants to bang, and he leaves anyway. Then our little Adam's family woman says that one of the things stopped singing. At first I thought they were birds, and I'm thinking to myself, they stopped singing. They're in tiny ass little cages. What the hell is the matter with you? When you look closely, they're crickets, and she has them in these little tiny cages. They're really small though. When you consider crickets jump very high, you know, I mean, they're bugs, but you know, it must be annoying being a cricket, knowing you can jump many inches and then you can't even jump properly in the cage. If they're gonna be fed or you're gonna eat them, I understand, but they're just living their whole lives, however short it is, in these little tiny boxes where they can barely move. That's foul. So Alicent says, hey, let's go pray and light a candle for Aegon and all the other lost souls. Meanwhile, chaos breaks out in the town. They say that Rhaenyra has given them food and everyone is fighting. And honestly, I can't really blame them. I mean, I can't see me punching someone who has food when they already have it. But then again, if you're starving and you don't do anything, you can't provide for your family. So I get it. And the soldiers tell Alicent and her daughter that they need to leave. I would have thought this would have been the best place for them in this very thick building, but they decide, nah, let's bring you out into all of these bustling people who are ravenous right now, because that's a very good idea. The people are angry with her daughter. They're just angry with people in general because they're doing well and eating well, and these people have been starving. So someone holds onto her hand, and this dude chops it all the way off. Can't really blame the soldier. He's doing his job. Why are you grabbing the queen? You could have been poisoning her. Like, anything could happen. I think that poor old man was probably trying to give her some supplication. She does do the right thing and tell the soldiers to sheath their swords and not attack the people. But now the people saw that happen, and just like all the riots, they're like, oh my god, she ordered that guy's hand to be cut off. The fuck? And then they all start acting like freaking rabid people. This woman... I know that they're acting, but this woman looks legitimately scared. She looks like she's actually worried for her life. Like she feels like she's gonna get trampled. And she's probably thinking, holy shit, I do not get paid enough for this shit, man. Someone is poking something up inside me. I'm being tossed. This is the 15th take. Someone stopped on my head before. This guy over here is laughing. He's having the time of his life. And this woman is like, is this dude behind me getting a fucking boner, my guy? And he's like, yes, I am. Like, have you ever seen the extras' faces in these scenes? It is the most entertaining thing ever. I usually watch these things over and over again because you can always get some treasures from people's women down here. Oh god, I don't know why that's so hilarious to me. But anyway, they get the queen to safety. They did throw a bunch of rotten fish at her. And I'm thinking, okay, so you guys are starving, but no matter how starving the people are, they always find extra food to just waste and throw at royalty. Why? You had food then, because you're spawning it out of nowhere. Alicent got cut. Hope it doesn't get infected later and she turns into Viserys. What also added butter to the what? No. What's the freaking saying? What also? Salt to the wound. There you go. What also added salt to the wound was that as Alicent and her daughter were inside, they heard people screaming, "Long live Rhaenyra." They look so tired. Can you imagine how the small folk must feel? At least you're clean. Well, you're not right now, but at least you're clean and you're able to screw people in peace in your bedrooms while your grandson's heads are getting chopped off. These other people don't have that luxury. So Aegon, he's being medicated. He's all doped up and the maester just says keep him medicated as long as he's alive, and I really do feel bad. He's basically become his father. Funny how history repeats itself. And Lord Larys comes in, and this is the most human that we've seen Larys. Not when he was sucking and slurping Alicent's toes, but now especially, because relatability. And poor Aegon's like, give me the dope. What are you doing? Larys, I like this scene so much because Larys isn't like Aemond. He's like, okay, he is not gonna help me out. He's a piece of shit. And yeah, Aegon, what's going on, bro? And he also I think he didn't really think in terms of this until he actually sat down and saw Aegon like this. Seeing him all disfigured and handicapped, of course, this strikes a chord with Larys. And I do like how they humanized him here and let us know from his perspective what he had to go through growing up as a handicapped man. We saw this with Tyrion with Game of Thrones as well.
People will pity you, either behind your back or in your presence. And they will stare at you or turn away. And they will underestimate you, and this will be your advantage.
No. No.
So he encourages him and says, your brother rules in your place now, which means your life is in danger. And you know that. You're never gonna be whole again. I love that Larys respects him enough and to tell him the truth. I love people who you tell someone straight, even if it comes off as rude. He's not being rude to him. He's just giving it to him as it is. He's not coddling him and telling him, it's okay, you'll be beautiful again. You're beautiful just the way you are. Yeah, okay. Be honest with people. And that's what Larys is doing here. He's telling him the reality that he's now to face. So Aegon tells him to help him. He was also nice to Larys, which is important. Larys remembers that. Remember the Telltale games? Another thing that Larys said, which was also very instrumental, is that, look, you can't do anything. You're never gonna run again. You're never gonna be whole again. All you have is your mind. And I've noticed that with some handicapped people, they are the smartest people you will ever meet. Or the most talented because they will take the handicap that they have in life and make something out of it. And they're stronger for it. And that's what Larys is trying to tell him. Don't sit here in self-pity and try to dull your mind, which is what this medication is doing. Your mind is important. That is all you have left. Meanwhile, Daemon is losing his. But I think he's coming to terms with his humanity and realizing he made a mistake with how he treated his brother. Even though he kind of made up for it in the end. He realized that he was so busy chasing power he didn't see what was right in front of him, which was his family. And here comes my favorite part of the entire episode, because Sea Smoke, as Rhaenyra said, has left. He's like, to hell with all of this. After he burned that guy, he's like, fuck these people. And he went out, and this guy, he likes dragons, right? He's seen Sea Smoke before, and I told you in the other video that I feel like this guy was gonna end up riding Sea Smoke because he obviously feels drawn to this dragon. There's something about him and the dragon that's just like, man, that's a good-looking dragon. We're gonna mate. I'm kidding. Just so you hear that clearly. Such a majestic scene when he is like, oh my god, The dragon looked at me. Sea Smoke flies away. He looked at me again. Oh man. And then the dragon turns around and he's like, oh shit, he's looking at me. You know how terrifying that is? The dragon, oh look, it looked at me, and you're looking at it. You guys made eye contact and you feel like, wow, this is such an honor. And then your freaking ass cheeks clench when the dragon makes a freaking 180 and continues looking at you and starts heading straight for you. Bro, I would have been dead. I would have just fallen over and fainted. I wouldn't even run where? What are you supposed to do? The dragon starts chasing him. And I already knew that he's chosen this guy. That's exactly what cats do. Like, hey, what's up, man? Someone in the comments of this scene was like, oh, black dude with dreads? That checks out. All right, gotta be you to replace the old one. The freaking memes that people have. It's just so hilarious. People are great, man. So this guy is running while the dragon is exercising its how to train your human. And he's like, all right, I'm good. No, I'm not. We see him in almost the same position that Hiccup was in with Toothless.
Ow, my freaking ear.
So then dude thinks that he's fine and he's staring at the bird. He says, oh, that's not the dragon. Wonder where the dragon is.
Excuse me, I take it black. Like my man.
So Mysaria does some more encouraging to Rhaenyra, and she tells her the story of how she got that scar. She has one in her belly too, and the story's really messed up. And of course, Rhaenyra feels horrible for her. And I already knew way ahead of time. I'm like, are they gonna do the thing? The actor is gay in real life. So I'm like, okay, she's playing a straight or bi character. I have a feeling since Daemon's not here, there might be some of that. I wonder if it's gonna be with this girl because she's eerily close to the queen now. So Rhaenyra goes and hugs her after she tells the story, as I would, because what else are you supposed to say to this person? And Mysaria is like, ooh, you feel good? That breasts meat smell. And Rhaenyra's like, oh my god, I totally didn't know I liked girls now. Oh my god, this is great. Let's like kiss. There, you got a dude gay character, you got her. Let's just point out though, she's totally cheating on Daemon. Daemon has been faithful, which is shocking to me because I did not expect that. I thought of everybody who was gonna be unfaithful and out there doing magic with their sting stick, it would be Daemon. But Daemon has been a pretty good husband, and I understand she doesn't know where she stands with him, but you're just being paranoid. Even this girl is like, yeah, Daemon just disappears. She cuts down really quickly when Rhaenyra says that Daemon might have turned against her. And Mysaria corrects her and says, no, Daemon disappears. That's just what he does. He's not a threat to you. That's not the kind of person Daemon is. He may be tough against his adversaries, but when it comes to the people he loves, yeah, he's not about that life. So you're cheating on him. No matter which way you spin it. And I don't care if they're like, well, she's stressed out right now. Has it really been that long? He hasn't gotten piped by anybody. Okay, I keep saying that. I think men do the piping. You know what I mean? She doesn't know that for certain, but you're still cheating on him. But then again, Daemon also kind of conditioned her to be carefree and do what she wants when it comes to sex. So that was the only teacher she had, sort of. So there was nothing in their thing that says, well, we have to be 100% faithful, because for all she knows, he could have been doing the same thing. But from what we see, he hasn't. So I love Rhaenyra, but she's a piece of shit for this. They look so guilty that even if the guy hadn't seen what you were doing, you've already told him what you're doing. So the guy tells her, I didn't see anything. Anyway, Sea Smoke was seen over Spice Town, but no one can see who's writing him. He has a writer, and of course this surprises Rhaenyra, who's all hot and bothered right now. I like how the guy from Our Flag Means Death is just staring at her like, I know what you were doing. So Rhaenyra makes lickety split. I don't understand what these dragon handlers are doing. Are the sticks to communicate with the dragon? Because honestly, that just seems like kindling to me. The frick are you gonna do with a bunch of twigs against a freaking dragon if it starts acting ornery? That just never makes any sense. Do they beat them with these sticks when they're little so they remember to fear them? Plus the people who are handling them look really scared, and I understand why they would feel this way, but why would you use sticks? Is it because you can't draw a sword at a dragon or will see it as a threat? But holding out the sticks just seems so stupid. So Rhaenyra flies out on Syrax, And of course, if this is a green, the fact that they're so close and they took another one of their dragons, Rhaenyra's like, no, I gotta bring that dragon down or take it back, however the hell that's gonna happen. And the episode ends there. Really good episode. I already can tell a lot of things that are gonna happen. Hopefully they don't just sit there and just leave Daemon, because he and Aemond are one of my favorite characters. We're seeing all the moving pieces, but what do we have? 2 episodes left? Maybe? I'm glad we got to see Sea Smoke. This is the most character I've seen out of this dragon so far. Sea Smoke is freaking hilarious. He must be Drogon's ancestor, because Drogon has kind of that same, it's the eyes, you know, like,
Yeah, I got you. I got this on camera.
Can't wait to see what happens. We better get some good old dragon fighting, man. And Vhagar and the other big dragon that they get is going to be the main attraction.